our YouTube channel, subscribe, and watch our games, even if you're not here. And off to the races we go. That's going to be Gail Satan going against, let's see, Ari? Is that Ari? Oh, and Gail Satan is out with lead for the beaters right off the bat there. And that's still star in hand. Tucson's Jammer putting the star back on because you got to put it on to get some points. Approaches the pack, but Gail Satan gets there 4 and calls off the jam. Drawing first blood, and the beaters are now at 4. Tucson at 0.
As we get ready for this next jam, shout out to our sponsor, 888, elevating derby safety standards with cutting edge technology. Find out more at 888.com. That looks like Mary Morphosis wearing the star for the Bad News Beaters. And I believe Glitter Bomb for the Javelina Havoc. Starting at the top, rolling back, whistle blows, action begins, and it's Glitter Bomb pushing to the front, able to get around Max, quickly establishing lead for the Javelina Havoc. Morph with the helmet cover in hand, just a swarm of Javelina, or a havoc of Javelina, if you will, shutting down Morph's forward progress. And Glitter Bomb is through for 4. And a helmet cover pass, star pass to Max. Max got knocked to the outside, so going to recycle. Oh, but looks like nowhere in pass, so no worries. One final point going up on that second pass for Glitter Bomb and the Javelina Havoc. So trading scoring passes here in the early moments of this game, Vamp. Each team putting up points.
That's right. And what would we call this now, Bonita? I believe this is what we call your favorite catchphrase, I believe. Is this a...
Is it?
Lead change.
A lead change.
Lead change.
It's a lead change.
It's a lead change.
Our
and
first.
we got... Up on the track, we got Mustang Alley going up against Foul Play for Tucson. Foul Play spinning around, trying to find some room on the inside, but gets knocked down and recycled by Phoenix. Meanwhile, we do have Mustang Alley just dancing around, trying to break apart this 2 defense. With success, is assigned lead for the beaters. Coming back around, Mustang Alley at turn 1, busting through, but a bit of a spill there at the apex. It's what happens when you gain a little speed as a jammer and just come in with power and force, but sometimes that direction takes you down to the floor. And we see a star pass from Foul Play over to their pivot for Tucson. I believe that's Destruction, Diva Destruction coming around. Almost makes it to the pack before Alley gets those 4 precious points from their successful scoring pass. We are now at 8 points for the beaters and 5 for Tucson, so still a close game, but again, a lead change. So take a sip of your favorite drink and stick around. We still got plenty of derby to go.
That's right. We are on jam. We were 3 jams in. We've had 2 lead changes. Just about to start jam number 4. The whistle. There it is. There's that whistle, and we're at it. Helenati wearing that star for the beaters. Sassy for the Javelina Havoc. Naughty pushing forward. Couple to beat. Anna Rose getting in there. Also the Diamond Cutter with the slowdown there. But Naughty now out. Has established lead. A successful star pass going to the Diamond Cutter. Let's see. We got a Javelina Havoc skater going to the penalty box. Naughty's going to pick up a couple points. Looks like 3. So extending that beater's lead to 6 points here in the early moments of this exciting match up. Shout out to our sponsor, 187 Killer Pads, industrial strength materials, unmatched ergonomic design, unparalleled excellence. Find out more at 187killerpads.com.
And off we go. Tied up against the jammer line, we do see Gail Satan going up against Rage for Tucson. Gail Satan just trying to squirm around the outside lane and then cutting back to the middle only to get out on the outside lane, assigned lead for the beaters. Meanwhile, Rage is trying to push their way forward now at turn 1 here. But the recycling game for the beaters has been pretty successful in holding back Rage, even with their offense coming in from both sides. I believe that's Anna Rose and then number 26, Diva Destruction, offering some offensive help for Rage. Rage takes the back of the track all the way back to gain some speed to see if they can push their way through. Oh, jumps that apex, knocking down Maximum Overdrive in the process. Gail Satan, in the meantime, has been making scoring passes. I believe that is a penalty to the pivot for Tucson. So this is all Rage right now. Meanwhile, Gail Satan is out on another scoring pass, another 4 points on the board. This is actually a power jam. Power jam. Gail Satan coming around with some speed. Hits first and Maximum Overdrive going in for the offense with Wonderlina. Beaters holding back, seeing that the jammer for Tucson is back up on their feet and back on the track, ready to bust through the pack here. Gail Satan's getting around through the inside lane just as the pivot returns back from the penalty box. That is that Night Owl penalty box. Successful star pass from Rage. Or I believe she still kept... Nope, never mind. She kept the start just until Satan was able to make that final scoring pass, bringing up the beaters score to a solid 31. Tucson being kept at 5. We have about 22 and a half minutes left in this first half, in this first game of the day, a doubleheader. Oh, and we got 2 Javelinas in the Night Owl penalty box. It's going to be a pack advantage.
Yeah, let's see what the beaters can do with this pack advantage as Morph taking it off the line, but running into a very solid wall there with Texas. Now through, though. Morph has lead. Morph through for 4. Glitter Bomb still looking to find a way out of the pack. Has that helmet cover in hand. Pivot standing in the Night Owl penalty box. As Morph comes in with, runs into some beautiful inverted blocking there by Foul Play. As Diva Destruction comes back on the track from the Night Owl penalty box, gets that star pass, and forces the call off. So 8 points going up in this jam for Morph and the Bad News Beaters.
And don't let the score fool you. Tucson is still putting up quite the battle there. They do have a very strong defensive formation that does keep those jammers back just enough to not run away with this. And we are still very early on in the game, so it just takes one good power jam or one good jam to flip the table. Right now we got Mustang Alley going up against the Diamond Cutter for Tucson. Mustang Alley trying for the inside lane, pushing the front of the pack. Meanwhile, we see the Diamond Cutter trying for the outside lane, which is the lane of success for them, and out with lead for Tucson. Mustang Alley has now passed over the star to the star herself, Goldie-Knox. Goldie-Knox pushing the pack forward, having one more to contend with. Failure to reform is being assessed to a Tucson blocker, but also Mustang Alley being sent to the penalty box. Just as everybody takes a bit of a spill here at turn 3, Diamond Cutter calling off the jam. And that is 4 points in the air, 9 for Tucson. Beaters at 39. Looks like a player each in the Night Owl penalty box at this time.
And at the Night Owl penalty box, our goal is to provide superb New York style pizza by the slice and smash burgers within a warm and eclectic atmosphere served by a friendly and welcoming staff. 2 locations to serve you. Find out more at nightowlaz.com. That whistle has blown. Helenati wearing that star for the Beaters. Artie Misfit for the Javelina Havoc. Naughty pushing towards the top, running into first Diva Destruction and then a Rage, but now through as lead. Successful star pass to Rage, who is now jammer for the Javelina Havoc. Going to put that pressure on. So Naughty will call it off. And 3 points coming up there at the end for the Javelina Havoc. 2 for the Bad News Beaters. Takes that score to 41-12 with just under 19 minutes left here in the first half.
It's like a healthy 30-point lead so far, but again, it just takes one good jam, one good power jam, or just a little bit of distraction, and it turns the tables over and over. Just like this planet turns, and just like how Gale Satan's skates turn as they get lead for the Beaters. But Mystery Meat is out on their initial and catching up. Gale with a beautiful apex jump bypasses the Tucson defense and gets those 4 points, calling it off. Bring up that score to 46. Tucson kept at 12.
Gale Satan with 28 points so far in this game. That's over half of the points the Beaters have earned. And a big difference maker in this game. Like Vamp said earlier, the Javelina Havoc just need one big jam to get right back in this. We'll see what Foul Play can do wearing that star for the Javelina Havoc. Metamorphosis for the Bad News Beaters. It's Morph who is out, coming up against a strong inverted block by Rage. Rage is joined by Lana Del Slay. Morph gets knocked to the inside, recycled back. Now a full tripod up there, looking to contain Morph and suck up all the space. Morph is out, does have a lead now. Foul Play looking to get out of the pack. Oh, big hit there by 2x4. Knocking Foul Play to the inside. A recycle back as Morph comes up. Looking to pick up some more points. Knock to the inside. Quick recycle back. Gonna start again. Now Morph is through. 4 more gonna go up. Or the first 4 going up, excuse me. And a successful star pass for the Javelina Havoc. Rage now jammer for the Javelina Havoc. Morph going to the inside. Gets knocked in by Bucket. Comes back to start again. Nice block there by Goldie, knocking Rage to the inside.
Goldie has her number.
Morph through on a second scoring pass, so 8 points so far. Rage almost out of the pack, chased down by Goldie, but now through. So initial pass complete for Rage, and the jam has ended. Wow, that was a lot of action. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. It was a beautiful, like, just waterfall recycle from Goldie, just leading them back to their teammates, Bully and Ambulance, who were also just covering those lines pretty well. It took them a long time to even get past Goldie. It just, again, 1 second of just minor distraction and you're out. But here we are. back at it again with Mustang Alley on their track, going up against Snaps for the first time for Tucson. Snaps pushing their way forward and out with lead for Tucson. Meanwhile, Mustang Alley trying for the center at the apex. Maximum overdrive throwing some offense from the inside to the out. Mustang getting taken out in the process by number 26 for Tucson. Ooh, almost got that landing. Oh, who is assessed that cut? Oh, Snaps is assessed the cut. Oh, snap. Here we go. Night Owl penalty box will hold the Tucson jammer for 30 seconds. Meanwhile, Mustang Alley has a chance to get through. So all offense from the beaters now. 2 to beat at the front. Mustang Alley being held very well by, who's that, number 26? Diva Destruction, but for their efforts get sent to the penalty box. Beaters taking up their space up in the back. Looks like they're running forward to run that offense for Mustang Alley, who is now coming around for a scoring pass. 2 to beat, pushes their way forward and through. 4 points in the air for Mustang Alley, just as we see Snap back on the track from the Night Owl penalty box. Diva Destruction also standing in the penalty box, waiting for their return. The Diamond Cutter and number 390, Sassy, trying to hold back Mustang Alley, but Mustang takes a spill at the apex. Ooh, almost thought that they had lead, but they realized they did not have lead, so they could not call the jam. Oh, looks like we are seeing, I believe that's the Diamond Cutter being sent to the Night Owl penalty box. That's 4 points in the air for Snaps. Snaps, if you are in-house for Snaps, getting 4 points in the air. Just as Mustang Alley also gets 4 points. Nice little exchange between the two. All right, that brings us to a score of 62 for the Beaters and 16 for Tucson. 13 minutes left in this first half between this exchange of these two Arizona-based teams. But stick around. We have a treat for you guys. We have our in-house team, Skate Riot Project, going up against the Denver Ground Control Layovers, who are here visiting from Denver, Colorado. Sometimes we play people from other states. It happens. And it's fun. We're excited.
It is. It's a good time.
All right. Looks like this is going to be an official review. We will wait a moment to hear the deets on that. In the meantime, Lokita, who do we have to thank for this evening?
Sisu Custom Fit Mouth Guards, another one of our sponsors. Of course, 888 and
Excellent,
187 Killer Pads. Make sure you check out Night Owl. Preferably not from the penalty box, though. Just go to their location in person.
Yeah, they have 2 locations, I believe, but there's one, in Tempe, right?
That's correct.
One in Phoenix? Or was it
Scott's.
I believe it's...
They're both kind of Tempe, though.
Yeah.
But one is
but definitely
the edge of
close to
Scottsdale.
where we are right
Yeah.
now.
Indeed.
So yeah, if you had no plans or no ideas for where to eat, Night Owl is the place to be. Tonight and tomorrow evening too, after we're done with our double header games tomorrow too. But that will be at a different location. We switch it up.
All right. We are just about ready to start again. Official review is officially concluded. And whatever it was, the officials did not agree with the beaters, and they have lost their official review for this first half. So hella naughty wearing that star for the Bad News Beaters. Glitter Bomb for the Javelina Havoc. Naughty out first, picks up lead. Glitter Bomb, though, also out of the pack. So Naughty going to call it off, and we have our first 0-0 jam of the game. 0-0. That's
Goose
the
eggs.
score.
But that's all right.
Totally.
We'll make more points in this next jam.
That's right.
Who dat? Who dat on the track? Oh man, this was a bad time to not bring my glasses. Can't see without my glasses, but I think I see the tall form of Gail Satan going up against Artie Misfit for Tucson. A bit of a scrum here at the straightaway, but out of the scrum, that is Artie Misfit out with lead for Tucson. Gail Satan being held successfully back for a moment, but it looks like they are pushing their way forward and side surfs into a penalty. That is a cut track for Gail Satan. This is a power jam for Artie Misfit. Artie Misfit successfully spinning around with 4 points in the air. Gets the memo that this is a power jam for Tucson. Oh, and finds room on the outside lane. 4 points in the air. And calls it off. And that ices Gail Satan in the Night Owl penalty box, extending this power jam for a few more moments. So a power start for Tucson, which, I mean, that is a good strategy if you want to give Gail Satan some time to rest and come out, you know, with a little more power. You got to be real quick if you want to go with this strategy on Gail Satan. And I do hope that the Tucson Jammer is up for the task. Who is that on the track?
That's Glitter Bomb wearing that star.
Oh, Glitter Bomb is definitely up for the task.
Gail Satan is standing. Glitter Bomb looking to find some space, going to the middle, comes up against 2x4s, Phoenix and Max. Glitter Bomb knocked to the inside, allowing space for Gail Satan to come out of the Night Owl penalty box and skate right through on that inside lane and pick up lead. Satan able to do a little fancy spinny move around those Javelina Havoc blockers, get through for 4. Glitter Bomb now on a scoring pass as Satan adds 4 more to that beater's scoreboard, getting the signal from the coaches to just run it. And Glitter Bomb getting a cut track call. That means we have a power jam. Power jam. Jam de poder. So power jam this time in favor of the beaters. Speaking of, Gail Satan getting recycled, knocked to the outside, goes back. Now looking to pick up some points. Sassy going to join the jammer in the penalty box. Satan adding 4 more. So 1 more pass will tie that highest scoring jam of the game so far. Let's see if... And yes, indeed, Satan picks up 4, takes it to 20, and calls it off. That is Satan's second 20-point scoring pass of the game. 4 points added to the Javelina Havoc score.
That is definitely a great pairing between jammers. Both Glitter Bomb and Gail Satan are very successful at what they do, which is jamming. And just finding those crevices that other people just, try as you may, they will slip through like Paper Mario somehow, or jump over it.
That is very true. Extremely athletic and agile jammers, both of them.
Yep. I believe this is what, a team timeout, or can't really tell.
An official review.
From Tucson, I believe, right?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Beaters no longer have any official reviews available.
Maybe we'll find out what happens this time around.
So, official review is complete. We can see that a beaters blocker has gone to the Night Owl penalty box, and the Javelina Havoc are retaining their official review. So the officials did agree with what Javelina Havoc presented for review.
Well, congratulations on winning an official review. That is, not always one. Eagle eyes out there. And speaking of, we've got Metamorphosis up for the beaters, going up against Diva Destruction for Tucson. Metamorphosis using those powerful legs to push, but that defense is holding on to Mary pretty fast. Meanwhile, Diva Destruction is out with lead, coming around fast, coming up to turn 1 to see where they're going to be most successful to get out. But La Mujer Wonderlina throws out a shoulder, knocking them out, but a forearm is assessed, sending them to the Night Owl penalty box, taking a turn for Bully Holiday, who is back on the track for the beaters. Meanwhile, the star has been passed over to Goldie Knox. Goldie Knox now out and about. Up ahead, Diva Destruction, but Diva Destruction is coming around for a final few points before Rage just escorts them out on the outside lane, forcing the call off. We have, I believe, 1 point caught by Goldie Knox, and what is that? 5 points for Tucson. We are now at 83 for the beaters and 33 for Tucson. 34 points for Tucson. Never mind. 6 yummy points were caught.
Whistle blows, and immediately out of the pack is Artie Misfit. Artie Misfit is your lead jammer. Mustang Alley, though, also out of the pack for the beaters. Coming up quickly. And Artie's going to get 3 points and call off the jam. So a very quick jam here in jam number 16. About just under 6.5 minutes left in the first half.
And that's how it goes. Sometimes you got to chip away at that lead in order to get anywhere. Quick jams win games sometimes.
That's right. Get your points and keep the other team from making any.
All right, everybody nice and cozy near the jammer line. And we've got Glitter Bombs just running through the pack with no time to think. Glitter Bomb out with lead for Tucson. Meanwhile, Hella Naughty hot on their heels, out on their initial, but Glitter Bomb jumps the apex and is chased down by Maximum Overdrive. 4 points in the air for Glitter Bomb. Glitter Bomb calls off the jam before Helenati can make a point. So goose eggs for the beaters and 4 points for Tucson. We are now at 83 for the beaters and 41 for Tucson, closing that gap one jam at a time.
2 successful jams in a row for the Javelina Havoc, able to get their jammer out as lead, hold back the beaters jammer, get those points, and call it off. Let's see what happens here in jam number 18. Gail Satan wearing the star for the Bad News Beaters, and Mystery Meat for the Javelina Havoc. Everybody still in that first lane between the jam line and the pivot line. Satan getting recycled back by the diamond cutter. Mystery Meat now also being recycled, this time by Ragin' Bajin. It is Gail Satan who is out first, has lead. A tap out there to a Mystery Meat, thanks to Goldie Knox. So gonna start again as Satan now on a scoring pass. Up on those toe stops, looking to go to the outside, then bust through that seam. Picks up 4 as Mystery Meat has also gotten out of the pack. So a 4-0 jam in favor of the beaters here in jam number 18.
Not too shabby, not too shabby. We have 4 minutes left in this first half of the first game here at Ability 360 between the Bad News Beaters from the Arizona Roller Derby League and the Tucson Javelina Havoc out of Tucson, Arizona. We got Metamorphosis pushing their way to the front, and foul play being held up at the back by full force of beaters, but they do have an offense with them trying to make the room that they need to get out of that sticky situation. And Metamorphosis, in the meantime, pushes their way through to the front and out with lead for the beaters. Coming around to catch up to turn 1 and finds a little bit of room on the outside lane, but gets a little bit of a knockout towards the line. Number 2-5 knocks down Metamorphosis, forcing the call off. And kisses from the Javelina jammer. Lots of love to their peeps. Tucson sneaks out, I believe that's 2 points. Keeping the beaters at 0. That's quite a successful call off for them. Oh, but they might contest it. Let's give it a second.
Looks like we're having an official timeout.
Yeah, let's give it a second. Let's figure it out.
Yeah. It's always good to pause, make sure you got everything recorded properly.
I see the Denver layovers out in the crowd, out in the benches watching the game. Hello, Denver. How you doing? Denver.
They're focused.
I see you. Hello, friends. How you guys doing? Welcome. Hope you guys are having a time.
All right, we are getting right back at it. Heard that whistle. Next whistle will start the jam.
Getting ready, getting steady.
Mustang Alley taking on Artie Misfit. Everybody's at that pivot line, and Mustang Alley getting knocked to the inside, recycles back. Artie coming up against some nice blocking there by Max, is now through and has picked up lead for the Javelina Havoc. Alley also out of the pack, so going to put the pressure on. Artie able to get through fairly unopposed, picks up 4 points and calls it off. Another 0-4 jam in favor of the Javelina Havoc.
Got less than 2 minutes left in this first half. What will come first? The beaters hitting the century mark, or Tucson hitting the halfway mark between the two? Who knows? 2 minutes is a lot of time for us in the Derbyverse. Anything can happen. But in the meantime, we have Hella Naughty for the beaters going up against Glitter Bomb. Both great jammers in their own right, as we see both of them getting out at the same time. But Hella Naughty with lead, just a few steps ahead of Glitter Bomb, but Glitter Bomb hot on their heels, trying to push them out of the way and get successfully ahead of them. Oh, Glitter Bomb is going quick. This was a race to force the call off on Helenati. That is going to be a couple of goose eggs for that jam, keeping the beaters at 90 and Tucson at 47 with less than a minute left.
Gail Satan wearing the star for the beaters. Diva Destruction for Tucson. So, Vamp, Gail has a pattern of getting 4 points, then 20, then 4, then 20. Her last jump, she got 4. So, if that pattern continues,
666.
we may see a 20-point jam. Let's see what happens.
Oh, sorry. I was just like calculating numbers differently in my head.
We're alternating.
Yeah, if you go.
All right, let's see. I don't know.
I don't know either. It just popped out at me.
And it is a power jam.
It
Power
is
jam.
power jam.
Jam de poder. And Satan swimming through the pack has established lead. This is her 5th lead of the game so far.
Yes, they're a pretty successful jammer in their own right. They hardly need any help, but when you're going fast like this, you need help slowing them down so you can get through successfully as they did.
Yeah, so she was able to find some space on that inside lane as the pack was moving quickly. Diva Destruction, though, now on the track. Anna Rose with some nice hits there to Satan. Satan knocked to the inside, calls it off, but not before picking up 4 points and taking us to the intermission, 98-47 here in the first half. So stick around, join us for the second half. If you're here in the venue, make sure you go and check out Rosie's Kitchen, get yourself something to eat, and we'll see you back here real soon.
Yes, don't forget to eat. All right.
Welcome back. We are just about ready to get started here with the second half between Arizona Roller Derby Bad News Beaters and Tucson Roller Derby Javelina Havoc. Thanks everybody for joining us in person here at Ability 360 or on the stream, or maybe you're checking us out later on the old YouTube rewatch. We're glad you're here. I am Loquita Bonita, joined by
Vampira.
Vampira.
That's me.
That's right. And we are ready for some action. We saw some good stuff in the first half, didn't we, Vamp?
Yes, we did. A lot of quick jams, a lot of strategy, a lot of jammers getting out and stealing points. But the story of the day, I think the highest scoring jammer for this game so far is Gail Satan, who is coincidentally on the track. And off to the races, we got Gail Satan going against Artie Matty, who is the highest scoring jammer, coincidentally themselves, for the Havocs. So they are out with lead, coming around now in turn 3. Gail Satan gets out on their initial. Artie Matty getting some assistance from their pivot to try to get some momentum from that apex and pops right out through the inside lane with 4 points in the air before calling it off with style and flair. Oh, sorry, Bonita. Go ahead.
That's okay. I'm sorry. I interrupted you. I was just going to say a beautiful 4-point jam to start off the second half for Artie Misfit and the Javelina Havoc. We're getting ready here for jam number 2. That is Glitter Bomb wearing that star for the Javelina Havoc, taking on Mary Morphosis for the Bad News Beaters. Whistle blows, action begins. It's Glitter Bomb high stepping it up that inside lane, running right into 2x4 and Bully Holiday. 2x4 and Maximum Overdrive now working together to contain Artie, who is now out of the pack and has established lead. Glitter Bomb Mary Morphosis now out of the pack as Glitter Bomb coming through. 4 points going up for Glitter Bomb and the Javelina Havoc. Just as Morph gets back to the pack, jam is ended. So starting off this game strong for the Javelina Havoc, 2 consecutive jams where they have obtained lead, gotten the points, and held the beaters scoreless.
You know, sometimes it helps having that time in between. Intermission has always been the place to, rest, recover, regroup. And the Javelinas have a game plan, it looks like. So here we go. That is going to be foul play for Tucson going up against Hella Naughty for the beaters. Foul play running up, trying to gain some momentum, gets a little push from their teammate, but Hella Naughty out with lead for the beaters. Foul play stepping up to the plate, getting close, but it is a race between the two teams. Phoenix looking like they're trying to get a goat to get that single point for Hella Naughty. And Hella Naughty sneaks away with 2 points there. Hitting the century mark neat and tidy for the beaters. Keeping Tucson at 55. So beaters have hit the century mark. Take a drink of your favorite beverage and let's keep watching this exchange.
Don't mind if I do. I have a lovely iced tea.
Hydration is key.
Very delicious. Whistle blows. That is Mustang Alley wearing that star for the Bad News Beaters. The Diamond Cutter for the Javelina Havoc. Diamond Cutter still back at that jam line, contained by a tripod of beaters as Allie gets recycled back into the turn. Going to come back and start again. Allie looking for some space on the inside. Everybody jumbled up there between the jam and pivot lines. Diamond Cutter broke free for a moment, but a chase down by Goldie going to slow down the Diamond Cutter, allows 2x4 and Bully Holiday to join up with Ragin' Bajin and stop the Diamond Cutter. Allie with one to beat. Some nice inverted blocking there by Snaps. Oh, and a forearm call. That's going to allow Allie to get out of the pack and establish lead.
Sometimes you just got to grind it out.
That's
And-
right. Over a
Oh.
minute into this jam until we got lead. Allie now looking to get past these two, well, last actually, blocker for the Javelina Havoc. And Pat getting very spread out, so that allows Allie to get through for 4. Diamond Cutter still looking to get out of that pack. The Javelina Havoc pivot is in the Night Owl penalty box. Allie getting knocked to the inside. Going to recycle back. Jam ends.
Oh, Allie. Almost got goaded into eating the baby. Don't eat the baby. Just stand. Oh, hey, Sauce. Beautiful as always, Saucy. That was Velasco Sauce gracing us with our glorious presence. All right, everybody ready to go? Oh, wait, maybe. Oh. Yes, no, yes. A bit of a confusion there. I was distracted. But in that confusion, we have Diva Destruction for Tucson. What is happening? So many whistles. Diva Destruction sent to the penalty box. Meanwhile, Gail Satan assessed a lead. High-speed action going on here as the beaters now have been made aware that this is a power jam in favor of Gail Satan's run here. Gail Satan now coming around for another scoring pass. The beaters being coached by Fred Nuts to the side, telling them to go up. Gail Satan pushes their way through the inside lane, out with another scoring pass. Meanwhile, we do see Diva Destruction released from the Night Owl penalty box, coming around trying to slow down Gail Satan, but takes a bit of a spill. Oh, will that send her back to the penalty box? I believe that will, for knocking down a opposing skater in that. I believe that's called a low block. Yes. So this extends this power jam for Gail Satan. Tucson now catching up some speed, but the problem is Gail Satan does well with speed, so they run out of the way, just knocking each player out of their way and calls it off. They've done enough work for this jam, I believe. That brings up the score to 120 for the beaters, keeping Tucson at 55, and Diva Destruction still in the Night Owl penalty box. So this is a power start. But one moment. Looks like a team timeout for Tucson. They must regroup. How will they play in this next jam is key to not let the beaters run away with this power start. So we'll give them a second.
A second or 60.
Maybe a bit more. Shout out to our medics who we have here on the side of the track watching every bit of this exchange. Thank you, medics, for coming out and keeping our skaters safe. Also to all our volunteers who, without them, these events do not happen. And to our sponsors who generously give their time, their gear, and their financial aptitude to us, the skaters and the league. 888 Sisu 187 Night Owl, you're all loved and cared for. Thank you for your sponsorships.
And if you have a business we can promote, get in contact. We're always looking for more sponsors. And there it is. Whistle blows, and we are right back at it. Mary Morphus is wearing that star for the Bad News Beaters, and Morph busting out of that pack and establishing lead. Diva Destruction, starting from the penalty box, is now back on the track, has that helmet cover in hand, knocked to the outside by 2x4, recycled back. A successful star pass to Mystery Meat. So Mystery Meat now jamming for the Javelina Havoc, and Mystery Meat was able to get out of the pack very quickly. So put that pressure on. Let's see what Morph is going to do. And there's that call off. Looks like 4 points on this jam for Morph and the Bad News Beaters.
A nice solid run there for Mary Morphosis. Skater is being fielded on the track now. It looks like Tucson decided to stay on top of the beaters, who are nice and cozy up against that jammer line. We've got Glitter Bomb going up against Hella Naughty. Hella Naughty pushing their way to the front, just using the force of those legs. Look at those legs go. One more to beat. Number 707 snaps. And Hella Naughty out with lead for the beaters. Meanwhile, we got Glitter Bomb out on their initial, speeding up. Oh. Looks like that sends Glitter Bomb to the Night Owl penalty box. This is a power jam for Hella Naughty. Meanwhile, Whacking Gibbous is being sent to the Night Owl penalty box. So just 3 beater blockers to cause some chaos and havoc here for Hella Naughty, splitting up this pack. The pivot, number 717, Mystery Meat goes in for a shoulder, trying to knock Hella Naughty out of pace, but they are keeping those feet moving, breaking up that pack bit by bit, forcing them to split up until they are let go. 4 points in the air for Hella Naughty. And we do see the return of Glitter Bomb, just speeding right through the center unopposed. Ouch for Tucson. Hella Naughty now coming around with one skater on the track for them. That is two skaters. That's Phoenix and Rage. Trying to contain and also play offense is pretty difficult, but now that we have 3 skaters on the track for the beaters, it's a little less hard. We got Hella Naughty trying to hold back Glitter Bomb on the inside lane and escorting them straight into the defense for the beaters. Hella Naughty now pushing their way forward against their own defensive formation. Glitter Bomb finds some room on the outside lane and out with 4 before the jam is called. All right, let's see what shakes out there. I believe that's correct me if I'm wrong, is that 15 or 16 points, Monita?
15 points up there for Naughty and the Beaters.
Oh, yeah, brings them up to 139. Tucson having picked up 8 points of their own and now at 63.
And that is the second highest scoring jam of the game there with 15 points. A very respectable 8-point jam, though, for Glitter Bomb as well. And now it's foul play wearing that star for the Javelina Havoc, and Mustang Alley going down hard. Going to recycle back and start again. Foul play also getting knocked to the inside. That recycle back courtesy of 2x4. 2x4, Bully Holiday, and Maximum Overdrive teaming up to contain foul play as Alley is designated lead but gets knocked to the inside. Going to recycle back. Looking for some space on the inside lane. Running into Texas. Along with, is that Diva Destruction? No, Sassy. Another recycle there to Mustang Alley. Helmet cover has been passed to Bucket. Bucket, though, in the
sad
tripod connection, and a really beautiful job of that tripod of just tracking and turning as Bucket tries to get around the pack. It's Allie who is out on that initial pass. Pack getting spread out. Destruction call being assessed to Goldie, who will go to that night owl penalty box. Allie is on a scoring pass. However, contained by the Javelina Havoc blocker. Still trying to come forward. Max looking to give some offense as the jam ends. 2 points going to go up for Mustang Alley. 0 added to the Javelina Havoc score. So 141-63, just over 16 minutes left here in the game.
Both teams are still putting up a great display of excellent defensive formations to hold back these jammers. But let's see how they do up against Gale Satan and Artie Misfit. Artie Misfit being recycled back just as Gale Satan finds some room on the inside lane. Out with lead for the beaters. Artie is now out on their initial, having left Rage in the dust. Gale Satan tries for the inside, but has to force the call off, getting knocked to the inside lane by the Diamond Cutter and Anna Rose for Tucson. So they only pick up 3 points, bringing up the score to 144 for the beaters in Tucson at 63. Some rousing cheers from the crowd for Tucson. Let's give it up for the Javelina Havoc, putting up a great show. Thank you for coming out today. And off to the races. Who do we have on the track?
Mary Morphosis wearing that star for the Bad News Beaters. Glitter Bomb for the Javelina Havoc. Glitter Bomb at the top of the pack, coming up against Ambulance along with 2x4. And I am not sure. I think Phoenix. Yes. Morph looking for some space to get out of this pack. And it's Morph who emerges first. Glitter Bomb just moments behind. Both jammers coming around quickly. Pack also moving pretty fast into the turns. It's like a race. And some people think this is what roller derby is just racing.
Yeah, racing, pushing, shoving.
Here
Not
we go.
punching, as most people think, or elbowing.
Some point scoring has occurred, though. All 4 points go up for Morph. Gonna keep running it as Glitter Bomb comes through for 4 as well. Morph now re-entering the pack, looking to pick up some points, and is getting that signal to call it off, and picks up 1 more point. So a 5-4 jam in favor of the beaters. However, the Javelina Havoc have called an official review, so let's see if that has any impact on gameplay in the next jam.
Yeah, they won it in the first half. Let's see if they win it in the second half. All right. Based on the fact visually that there are no changes to the amount of skaters on the track and the Night Owl penalty box being completely empty, they did not retain their review. And we're ready to play the next jam. Whoop. And off we go. We got Hella Naughty for the Beaters going up against Rage for Tucson. Everybody nice and tight up against the jammer line. Hardly any motion until Rage starts pushing forward through the inside lane. And Hella Naughty trying to take the outside, but follows closely behind Rage and overtakes them despite Rage having lead. And oh, that is a power jam for Rage as Hella Naughty's being sent to the Night Owl penalty box. So power jam for Tucson. Oh, a beautiful little hip flick to get through the initial pair of blockers defending for the Beaters. But Rage being recycled towards the inside lane and all the way back, pushing their way forward and past maximum hover drive. 4 points in the air and calls it off, leaving Hella Naughty standing in the Night Owl penalty box. That's 4 points, bringing up Tucson to 71, getting closer to the Beaters 149.
So this will be a power start for Artie Misfit and the Javelina Havoc. Getting close to oh, an official timeout.
Timeout?
An official timeout. Just a quick chickadee check. And we're all good. Next whistle will start the jam. And there it is. We are off. Artie Misfit, only jammer on the track, pushing forward. Getting some offensive assistance there from Mystery Meat. And Artie now all the way out of the pack, does have lead. Naughty comes straight out of that Night Owl penalty box and through the pack. So initial pass complete, going to put that pressure on. Artie getting knocked to the inside, recycles back, calls it off just as Naughty gets to the pack. So 1 point going to go up for Artie Misfit there in jam number 12. Score 149 to 72. Just over 11 minutes left in the game.
A beautiful escort out from Goldie Knox. Goldie Knox just really having a number on all these jammers. And speaking of jammers, who do we have on the track? We got Mustang Alley for the Beaters going up against Sassy for Tucson. I believe this is a first start for Sassy. Sassy trying to push them back to turn 4 here on the track. A little bit behind the jammer line now, but looks like both jammers are now pushing both packs forward with Mustang Alley a little bit more ahead than Sassy, but Sassy trying to find some room on the inside lane, maybe push through the seam towards the center. Now getting closer to turn 1 here. Meanwhile, Mustang Alley is all the way in the back, held back by Diamond Cutter. Pivot for Tucson, escorting them successfully into the pack for the Tucson Javelina Havocs. Everybody being recycled, no lead quite yet. But Mustang Alley now up at the front, being held back by number 25, Lana DeSlay. And pushed out of the way. That is Mustang Alley out with lead for the Beaters. Star has been passed over to the Diamond Cutter. Mustang Alley now being escorted to the inside lane and back. Diamond Cutter coming around, forcing that call off. How many points shake out? I believe that's a goose egg jam. Keeping the Beaters at 149, Tucson at 72. There's 9.5 minutes left in the second half.
That is our second scoreless jam of the game. We saw one in the first half. First one here in the second half. Gail Satan, highest scoring jammer of the game, out on the track. So perhaps we won't see that again. Texas Hold'em wearing that star, I believe, for the first time this game. Tucson has had a lot of jammers here in this game as Satan is assessed lead. We've seen a little bit of everyone. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Gotta shake
We've
it up.
seen eight jammers for Tucson. The beaters have stuck to their core four. And a good call here as Texas Hold'em did get out for that initial. Satan has put up 4, coming back to scoop up a few more points, and does. Oh, but gonna get a cut track call for her trouble. That means we have a power jam. Power jam.
Jam de poder.
Jam de poder. So an opportunity for Texas Hold'em to put up some points for the Javelina Havoc. Texas getting knocked to the inside. A little bit of thought about, should I come in? Should I not? Plays it safe. Recycles all the way back. When in doubt. Never a bad plan. So this will be a full 2-minute jam. There is no lead not available. Gail Satan had it, lost it by going to that night owl penalty box. Satan looking for that lane to get out of the pack, gets knocked to the inside, recycles back on the track, battling through, and 4 points going up as time runs out on that jam clock. 3 points going to go up for Tucson on that jam. Takes their score to 75. Beaters now sitting at 157, just under 7 minutes left in the game.
But yeah, what you were mentioning earlier with Tucson having such a deep rotation for jammers, they're just trying everything they can at this point. So, at this point in the game, you just got to try every configuration to see what will be successful. And, we've seen Glitter Bomb be very successful in their jamming, but Mary Morph also is a very successful jammer in her own right when she gets through the pack. On those edges, they're very good on their toes. So is Glitter Bomb. And Glitter Bomb just skipping through the inside lane just as number 390, Sassy, knocks Mary Morphosis through the inside to lead them back into their defensive formation. Glitter Bomb coming around for a scoring pass, lead for Tucson. Glitter Bomb just finding room on that inside lane, just very quick on their feet. Out with 4 points in the air. Mary Morphos is still trying for that inside lane, but gets escorted to the inside lane. Oh, bit of a collision here between Mujer Wonderlina and Glitter Bomb, but Glitter Bomb quick to get back up on their feet just as the star is passed over to Goldinox. Goldinox now star secure on their helmet, coming around to see if they can get some points. Glitter Bomb looking to their bench and calls it. Just as Goldinox picks up a sneaky point for the beaters. That's 158. Tucson making 8 points in that last exchange, bringing up their score to 83. 5 minutes left. Plenty of derby left still. But with the beaters with a healthy lead at this point. Team timeout from Tucson. Got to regroup in these last 5 minutes. And this is a good time to take a breather. Drink your drink. Eat your snack. Check in with yourself. How are you doing today?
What's been the best part of your day? Little check-in.
Yeah. It's a Saturday, and we get to watch roller derby. I think that's pretty great.
Always a good day on a roller derby day. A sunshiny, hot day here in the valley.
Yes, unfortunately. Another sunny day. Denver, you can bring your storms, your gales, anything like that over here. We had one pretty recently.
We
Pretty
did.
bad storm. 25-mile-per-hour winds, knocking everything over.
We did. I saw branches go flying. It was wild.
I know. I had lightning overhead. It's pretty bad.
Now we're
but
back.
not bad enough to stick around.
That's right. You know what's wild is the action is on the track. And who do we see with that helmet cover first time this game? It's Bully Holiday.
Oh, Bully. Look
She's
at
a jammer, and she has lead.
Woo.
Busting past Mystery Meat, who turned around for an inverted block. Bully just powering through. However, calls it off before picking up any points. So a 0-0 jam, but time off the clock.
Yeah, with this lead, I think you can take a moment and actually enjoy Derby, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's a thing people do.
But no mistaking it, Tucson is still in it to win it. They have Artie Misfit out there going up against Mustang Alley. Artie Misfit trying to take their motion forward, but Mustang Alley finding some speed on the outside lane, gets out with lead for the beaters. Artie Maddie now with star in hand, trying to see where their offense is going, and passes the star successfully to Anna Rose. Anna Rose coming around, got to secure that star on the helmet, and they do. Meanwhile, Mustang Alley pushing up against one last skater and sees their coach Fred call it off, Mustang Alley, and they do. That's 3 points in the air, bringing up the beaters to 161, and Tucson kept at 83. 3.5 minutes left. Very strong showing here between these two teams. Eager to contain the likes of Glitter Bomb and Gale Satan, but Gale Satan out through the inside lane, just skips through and is out with lead for the beaters, but Glitter Bomb not to be outshone and gets out on their initial, keeping low, getting speed from those apexes. Oh, Gale Satan takes the inside lane and calls it off after getting all 4 points. 165 for the beaters. Tucson at 83. 2.5 minutes left. What more can we see? Well, I'll let Bonita tell you.
What we can see right now is Artie Misfit wearing that star for the Javelina Havoc and Mary Morphosis for the Bad News Beaters. Everybody getting in position. Whistle blows, so that will start the jam. Morph off the line first, pushing forward, getting some offensive assistance, but it's Artie Misfit who finds that inside lane wide open and is through for lead. Star Pass has gone to Hella Naughty, so Naughty now jammer for the beaters. Artie Misfit, nice spin around there. Facing off against Goldie, joined by Gibby and Morph. Gonna call it off. 4 points going up for Artie Misfit and the Javelina Havoc. One sneaky point there at the end, thanks to Hella Naughty.
Tucson staying on top of the beater defensive line on the jammer line. We see Mustang Alley taking the star up against Glitter Bomb. Glitter Bomb trying to force their way through the seams up ahead. Meanwhile, Mustang Alley held up at the back of the pack by a pretty strong defensive tripod. with Tucson's lead jammer Glitter Bomb out and quick to come around on that first straightaway. The Diamond Cutter recycling back. Mustang Alley going up now at the front with Phoenix, who is offering some offense here. The Diamond Cutter coming up with their pack to give some reinforcements to the Tucson defense. Mustang Alley now forced to take the star off, find some leeway through, but Rage in the way. Phoenix trying to offer some offensive assistance, but Rage escorts Mustang Alley through the inside just as Glitter Bomb comes around with another scoring pass. Few seconds left. Oh, and they're going to see the end of this with Glitter Bomb just taking laps for Tucson. Are we going to hit the century mark? I think we just might. Glitter Bomb does have the feet for it. Mustang Alley still being held at the back of the pack. Has successfully passed the start over to Phoenix. Phoenix now coming around. Glitter Bomb forced to call it off with a successful jam in their pocket. That is, I believe, 10 or 12 points that they scored. So close to that century mark, but the unofficial score between the Bad News Beaters and Tucson's Javelina Havoc, 166-97 is the unofficial score. Gotta wait for that whistle indicating the end, and there we go. That is the whistle ending this game between the Bad News Beaters and Tucson's Javelina Havoc. There you have